Coach Sullivan here again with MJS Coaching Football. To my subscribers, say thank you. Non-subscribers, I'm really hoping to tease you into pushing that button. This past fall, I completed my 38th year coaching football, and I was a defensive coordinator. But over that time, I've also been an offensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, longtime head coach, and all of this at both the collegiate and high school levels. In this presentation, I'd like to talk to you about our match quarters variation gray 3 versus what we call South Carolina. Now, remember, we use state names for our two receiver route concepts. I will tell you what South Carolina stands for, meaning what concept. Over here, the key terms I'm going to explain to you is so you can understand how we defend South Carolina. And then here, I'll bring it to life for you with the diagram. Okay? So first key term is surface. And to us, that means the offensive line. And when there's a tight end in the formation, the tight end becomes a part of the surface. All right? So tackle guard, center guard, tackle, and then the tight end in this case as well. The surface tells you whether or not it's run, pass, and the direction. Okay? Both in the run game and the protection. Okay? So rather than say it 8 times, the surface, in this case, the tackle, guard, center, guard, and tackle is showing you pass, hi-hat. Okay, whether it's hard or soft set, it doesn't matter for the presentation. The tight end is going to be involved in South Carolina, so he obviously will not be in protection. But that's a part of the surface, see? Non-subscribers. So the second term is read number 2, he tells you what to do. Read number 2 tells you what to do. And in this case, number 2 is running a corner route at 10 or more yards of depth. Okay? So number 3, what South Carolina is the scat concept. So in a 2x2, the running back is involved. Otherwise, in a 3x1, it's a 2 receiver route, 1 and 2, and then number 3 is involved. So I'll show you with the running back. Okay? So this is the scat concept. The reason I'm showing it to you out of an 11 personnel formation is so I can show you the distinct technique difference between the outside linebacker on a tight end, attached, and the outside linebacker in space, or detached. So number 4, the attached outside linebacker starts off with knockback, then he's going to expand, and then it's going to become running back to crossers, okay? Whereas detached, number 5, just eliminate the knockback because it's not on a tight end, so then it's just expand running back crossers, and I'll bring that to life for you in the diagram, okay? And specifically, how to avoid getting rubbed in the scat concept, so that enables the outside linebacker to get to the running back. Woohoo! So the big key here in our match quarters variation grade 3 is number 6, our corners. Boundary and field, they got number 1 man. Okay, number 1 man. And we're going to show it to you enough, but we can also play it in press. And so how that is played by the corners will bring in how our outside linebacker is able to avoid the rub. It's going to be different attached on the tight end versus detached in space. Again, why I was showing it to you versus an 11 formation. Then number 7 is our safeties, the whip and free. They've got mod on number 2, which is man over 10. Okay, and it's no help. Whoa, not subscribers. And then last but certainly not least, our inside linebackers, running back 2 or mirror the Q, and how that factors in with the outside linebackers here in the scat concept. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do over here in the diagram is diagram the scat concept, or what we call South Carolina, right? SC, scat. That's how we present it to the players, again, because we use state. So if we scream in South Carolina here, that means nothing to the offense, but if we scream scat, Okay, it might help the offense, so that's one of the reasons why we put it in a code states. All right, so over here, right, the big thing here, as you'll see, is the spacing between number 1 and 2, because 2 is a tight end. So I'm going to diagram it first with the 2 wide receivers. So then when I come back to the tight end, it'll make a little bit more sense. So what typically happens in Scat, okay, and so again, the spacing isn't necessarily accurate because I don't have board spacing on top of everything else. But what number 1 does, he runs what we call a little sit route, and he gets to a depth that can vary, but usually about 3 yards over the original alignment of number 2, his number 2. So he runs a sit over 2. Number 2 runs that corner route, again, breaking at 10 plus. And see, now the running back in this case, or if it's a 3-by-1 number 3, is running the flare route. Okay? So see what I mean over here? When it's a tight end, and we've seen it, usually number 1's a lot closer. Okay, so the spacing here should be an indicator on the tight end side. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So you got to pay attention to that as coaches in your film study. Okay, so there's no set width, but what we've seen over the years is usually he's not much wider than 5 yards in order to accomplish this. Okay, so split spacing 5 or less yards. I mean, we've even seen it with usually just a wing. Okay, but we've seen it as wide as 5. So then here comes number 1 again. Number 2 at 10 plus, right? So there's the sit over 2. So now I'll do it with dash lines because obviously the running back cannot do that on both sides, right? You can't have a 3-by-1 on both sides. Okay? So that is the Scat concept. So now how do we defend it? Okay, so I'm going to start, excuse me, on the attached side. So actually I'm going to start off with the corner. Okay, first of all, our alignments are disguised, freebie non-subscribers. Okay, so he's going to read the surface, but he's not going to take a walk pedal butt to boundary because it's man. So on the snap, he stems inside, so it looked the same pre-snap, right? Surface told him it is passed, so now number 1 becomes his world. Okay? Playing off man, he is going to cut number 1. Okay? Attached. Right? Knockback. Every single time. That's his pressure key and his visual key, the tight end. So he's going to hear pass. So he is taught, hold him as long as you can. As soon as you turn, let him go. So now as he expands, he's going to see, right, that 2 is vertical. And here's the key. All right? If he could see that 1's coming in and he's gotten it to immediately turn and get his eyes, then he can go get the back now. If it looks as though there's going to be a collision with number 1 and him, then he's going to go over the top of the face so he can get outside relationship, so he doesn't get pinned in, rubbed. Because if the quarterback throws it, the back's got the sidelines, and he's going to run away from both the outside and inside linebackers. You see what I'm saying? So that's got to be a quick read. As he's expanding, he's got to see that 2 is not going outside. He's got to hear his safety saying Virginia, 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 which tells him he's vertical. I got him. Okay, this is huge, the communication aspect of it. All right, so there's two ways. If he hears Virginia and it looks like he's going to collide, get picked off by number one, then he's going to cross the face, bubble over the top so he can get outside and not allow the back to get to the sideline. That's huge. Okay? So corner cuts as he expands, right? As I said, he's going to get, now I'm going to hear on the safety, the Mott. He's going to be walk pedaling. He reads the surface pass. He reads the stem. He screams Virginia, which tells his outside linebacker now, okay, ba-boom, I got him. And normally we erase it, so this is the 9-on-9 football. Corners have number one, boom, done. So it's 9-on-9 football, but I got to keep it visible so you understand how it impacts potentially this concept, scat, the outside linebacker's ability to get to the running back without getting pinned or rubbed. So now the running back can get the sideline. Okay, makes sense? So subscribers know that normally I erase the corners by now, and that's what the 9-on-9 football means. But to show you South Carolina or the scat concept, I'm not going to do that. So I will come back to the inside linebacker. Now I want to come over here. So over here, everything stays the same. Fields reading surface, stems. Now he is going to cut. Number one, right? He doesn't have knockback. As he expands, he's going to hear Virginia. So it's a little bit easier over here for the outside linebacker because he's removed. Okay, he's not necessarily in as much jeopardy of getting picked and rubbed off, but still, as he's expanding, again, the split and relationship spacing between 2 and 1 should be a bit of a help. Okay? He is still taught. If you think you're going to get in a collision with number one, then protect the sideline now because you and the corner are switching assignments, just like over here. If you're not in danger of a collision, then go get the back now. But that's my concern in the South Carolina or scat concept is that the back gets the sideline, the quarterback gets him the football, and we're in trouble. Okay? So now the inside linebacker on both sides, okay? They're going to read the back. They're going to go chase the back inside out regardless. So we're going to have two on the back. We feel good that we've got the corner route covered on both sides with man over 10. We know that the scat route, the sit over number 2, boom, done, covered by the corner. It's the running back is the concern. So the inside linebackers on both sides will be chasing inside out on the back, which is why it's important that the outside linebacker protects the sideline. Okay, so we're going to get the ball thrown to the shortest route in the concept, the running back. But can we make sure we protect the sideline with our outside linebackers? Okay? So as I said at the beginning to my subscribers, I thank you. Non-subscribers, I hope I tease you into pushing that button. Anybody has questions, because this is a different way to play it than our base match quarters grade 4. Please reach out to me, Coach MJ Sullivan at gmail.com. I love to talk football with you. Thank you for watching MJS Coaching Football, and thank you, YouTube, for providing this platform.